that name is correct, or if you don't have a name on the screen or just a partial name, if you could just give me your full name and then tell me who you're representing here today, whether you're the applicant, the owner, a neighboring property owner, or someone else connected to the project in any way, or a member of the community. So I'll start with Sean Fenn, who I believe is from the city building department.
Yep, Sean Fenn, Cities Inside Building Department.
Okay, welcome. Looks like we have Rob. Is that Rob Lyons? And could you unmute for me, Mr.
I
Lyons?
just did. Okay. I'm here representing the applicant.
Okay. Let's see. Is there someone else in the room, or do you have another screen going?
Yeah, there's another computer or screen right next to me.
Yeah, so I'm getting some feedback on that. So if you could mute the audio on one of the devices, usually that helps.
Okay, it moved away, so maybe that will take care of it.
Yep, that works. Okay, great. Okay, and Rob Lyons, and you're representing the applicant and owner on this, is that right?
The Isis Perkins, yes.
Okay, great. Welcome. And let's see, we have Maria Simpson.
Yes. She's my mother, the owner.
Okay. Great, welcome. And I see we have Wes Menzel here from the City Planning Department. Welcome, Wes.
Good afternoon.
And Diane Marksberry. If you could unmute for me.
I'm here, Diane Marksberry, the neighbor at 180 Richardson Place.
Okay, great. Welcome, Ms. Marksberry. Okay, and then I have someone under ISISP. I assume that's Isis Perkins.
Correct.
Okay, great. And you are the owner and the applicant here?
Yes, I'm the owner of 178 Richardson Pl.
Okay, great. Welcome. And then finally, we have Samantha Mesa.
Yeah, it's under Perkins. I'm
Okay.
here for ISIS.
Got it. So your name is Samantha Perkins.
Yes.
Okay, great. And do you live on the property, or are you just here in support of?
No, I'm here for support.
Okay, got it. Okay. On the applicant owner side, are we expecting anyone else to join us before we begin?
No.
Okay, great. Let's go ahead and get started then. I need to, before we begin, read through our hearing script. This is just going to cover the procedure for the hearing, and then we'll begin. So this is the October 29th, 2025 session of the Zoning Hearing Examiner docket. Again, my name is David Sturkey. I'm the Zoning Hearing Examiner for the city. I'll be presiding over the hearing today. The case before us is case number ZH20250103. That's 178 Richardson Place. The purpose of the hearing today is to allow the applicants and any other parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the Zoning Hearing Examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any other party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing, unless, of course, there's been some written correspondence or evidence submitted prior to this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. So for our purposes here today, Mr. Lyons, when we begin, I'll turn the floor over to you. You can orient your presentation however you'd like. I mean, you can do it more of a formal courtroom style where you ask questions of your client. You can make opening statements, really however you want to do it, or you can just turn the floor over to different witnesses or your client for them to present the case as well. So however you want to do that, you'll have that opportunity to do that first. After your presentation, I will then move over to members of the public that are here that you are not representing or that are not a part of the applicant's case or presentation. So I believe that's Ms. Marksberry, but it may be Ms. Miss Samantha Perkins, and Ms. Simpson as well. I don't know if you plan to call them, if they're going to be a part of your presentation.
Briefly, yes,
Okay, so they'll all speak then during your presentation.
correct.
Members of the public that are here today will be Ms. Marksberry. Ms. Marksberry will give you an opportunity to provide testimony after the applicant has presented its case. I'll turn it over to Wes Menzel. He has prepared a staff report in relation to this case. I'll allow Mr. Menzel to provide any testimony if he would like in addition to that staff report. In the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to this application, the applicant will have an opportunity to rebut that testimony and or argument that was offered in opposition. And the applicant's attorney will have an opportunity to cross-examine any witnesses that testified during this hearing as well. After the applicant has been given an opportunity to provide any rebuttal, they'll be able to make any closing remarks. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or to make any comments. In the event of any technical difficulties with the Zoom technology, I'll do my best to troubleshoot those issues on the fly, but to the extent there's some defect that prevents us from me fully going forward with this hearing, I may continue or postpone the hearing at my discretion. Okay. The last thing I need to do is just swear in all of our witnesses. So if you intend on providing any testimony here today, making any comments, really doing anything other than just strictly observing, and you are not an attorney, then the zoning code requires that I swear you in. So I'm going to collectively do that with everyone who intends on testifying right now. So if that's you, if you could please take yourself off mute. I'll need everyone's camera to be on. And I'll need everyone to answer out loud. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
I
Yes.
swear. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks, everyone. All right. Mr. Lyons, are you ready to proceed?
I am.
Okay, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sturkey. I'm Rob Lyons. I'm Ms. Perkins's attorney representing her in regard for this request for a variance, a special exception, and or a conditional use, whatever would be appropriate under these circumstances. Ms. Perkins owns and resides in the residence located at 178 Richardson Place. A couple of years ago, Ms. Perkins had an old chain link fence removed from her property. The chain link fence ran along the property line totally on Ms. Perkins' side of the property. The fence divided the property owned by Ms. Perkins from the next door neighbor's property. That's 180 Richardson Place, which is owned by Ms. Marksberry. Ms. Perkins replaced the old chain link fence with a new fence that is 6 feet high in the backside of the property. Ms. Perkins complied with all city requirements when having the new fence installed. Ms. Marksberry, who owns and resides at 180 Richardson Place, is right next door to 178 Richardson Place. Ms. Marksberry had 2 surveillance cameras installed at the back corner of her house, nearest to Ms. Perkins' house. One of the cameras is pointed directly at Ms. Perkins' bedroom window. The other camera is pointed into directly into Ms. Perkins' fenced backyard. Not liking her right to privacy being violated, Ms. Perkins had what we will characterize as a decorative wall installed. The decorative wall is not connected to the fence and is almost or approximately 6 inches away from the fence, offset from the fence. Not being connected to the fence, Ms. Perkins did not consider it to be part of the fence or a fence. If you, Mr. Sturkey, you have the packet that we submitted, and in there's a series of photographs that I would like to direct you to. As I am trying to get the packet. Here it is. The first picture,
Mr. Lyons, is this in the original application packet or?
it is. It
Okay.
is in the original application packet. So
Got it.
first picture shows the what we'll call a decorative wall, and as the picture illustrates, it's 10 feet 4 inches tall and 32 feet in width, or 32 feet long, and is located in the back and side yard of 178 Richardson Place. The
Okay,
next,
Mr. Lyons, if you don't mind, I'm going to share my screen just so we're all looking
okay,
at the same thing here. This is from the staff report, but I believe this is the wall that you're referring to here
yes,
with the measurements.
yes, sir.
Okay.
And then the next photograph is a picture from the front of the property, or actually from Richardson Place, which shows that, let's see, go down a little bit. It's the second one in the packet. It's a picture from the street. Not that one. I think it's a little.
I for some reason they came over in black and white, so
I
have
sent them in color.
yeah.
I think that's the photograph, the color photograph, but it shows the picture from the front of the property or the street view, which you can see the wall is not, you cannot see the wall from the street or the front of the two properties.
Mhm.
The next picture, if you can see in the picture, that is Ms. Perkins' bedroom window.
This one?
This picture, yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Those
ones
both
here.
are bedroom windows, and the bathroom is right next to the bedroom
On the back side.
in there.
I've been in that house prior.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was someone was off mute. It's okay. Please proceed.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that picture illustrates the bedroom windows. The next picture is a picture from the back, and hard to see there in the black and white, but that also shows the camera locations of the two cameras, surveillance cameras on the back corner of Ms. Marksberry's house. That's a better picture showing the camera positions. And
Okay.
that would be the next picture. And
Gotcha.
the next picture also shows that is the camera that is pointed directly at Ms. Perkins' bedroom window.
Okay.
And the next picture should be another picture. That one, yeah, that picture is a picture from inside the house, showing the view from inside the bedroom window, and it shows how the wall is blocking. It demonstrates how the wall blocks the camera that's pointing directly, would be pointing directly to the window.
So is this line here, is this the wall in questions?
Yes, sir.
Or is this the 6 foot? Okay.
No, that's the 10-foot,
Got it.
4-inch wall that's only partially solid. The bottom is not solid, but that extends 4 feet 4 inches above the 6-foot wall.
Got it. Okay.
The wall is there to block the camera pointing into Ms. Perkins' window and to Ms. Ms. Perkins's fenced backyard. Ms. Perkins lives alone and obviously doesn't like her privacy violated. Additionally, Ms. Perkins has 6 young grandchildren who like to visit Grandma's house. The grandchildren like to play in Grandma's bedroom and in Grandma's backyard. The family does not like the minor children being video recorded. And then in looking at chapter 1445-15, standards for variance, says subject to other provisions of this chapter, the zoning hearing examiner may grant a variance from the requirements of the city zoning code or the land development code, provided the condition giving rise to the request for the variance was not created by the owner or any predecessor in title. In order to grant approval, the examiner has to find that the requested variance is not contrary to the intent and purpose of this code or the land development code is applicable. In the zone district, nor detrimental or injurious to the public health, safety, general welfare based upon either of the following. And then going to B of that section, the variance is necessary for the preservation and enjoyment of a substantial property right of the applicant possessed by owners or other properties in the same district or vicinity. Ms. Perkins' right to privacy is a substantial property right that she possesses and a property right that others in the neighborhood possess. She did not create the condition giving rise to this request. The variance is necessary for Ms. Perkins' preservation and enjoyment of her property. The variance is not detrimental or injurious to the public health, safety, general welfare. And the only property right affected by the wall other than Ms. Perkins is Ms. Marksberry. And Ms. Marksberry created the condition that gives rise to this request. With that being said, I'd like to call Sean Fain.
Yep.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Fain.
Hello.
You came and looked at the you're the ones that did the inspection.
Yep.
And you were able to see the placement of Ms. Marksberry's cameras.
Yes.
And you would agree it pointed right into Ms. Perkins's backyard and right into a window in her house.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Fain, I think that's all I have for you, unless you'd like to add something to what I've asked as far as your inspection was concerned.
Nope, just saw that the violation for the wall where the camera is located and understand why the wall was put there.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Call Maria Simpson.
Yes, hi.
Hi, Maria's. You are Maria Simpson,
Yes,
and you are Ms. Perkins' daughter,
yes,
and you have children,
yes,
and you like to visit your mother with your children.
yes.
Were you aware, or how did you feel about the next door cameras being the placement of the cameras?
Obviously, we don't like it. We feel really, uncomfortable, especially because, the kids like to come over and spend the night and hang out and play. Um, you know, that wall is there for privacy to protect not just her, but also us when we come and visit as well.
Okay, Now that the wall is there, do you and your children feel, or do you feel much more comfortable bringing your children?
Yes, definitely. A lot more. I mean, it's still uncomfortable, but a lot better than before.
Okay. And thank you, Maria.
Yes.
Call Samantha Perkins.
Yes.
Okay. And you are Samantha Perkins.
Yes.
Okay. And you are Ms. Perkins' daughter.
Yes.
And you have children.
Yes.
And do you like to bring the children to visit their grandmother?
I do like to bring them, but it's really uncomfortable just given the conflict that has been happening with the neighbor. I do agree with Maria that with the fence, it provides a lot more privacy and it makes the situation a lot better than before. Um, and personally, I feel like the neighbor should appreciate that because I think she should also appreciate the privacy. Um, but yes, I agree. Like we would want to keep the fence up.
Okay, with the you were aware that the cameras and the placement of the cameras.
Yes.
Okay, and they did point directly into the backyard where your children like to play.
Yes.
And directly at your mother's bedroom window.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Samantha.
Thanks.
Can I add something actually?
Yeah, sure. Go
I
ahead.
just wanted to add about the placement of the cameras because not, that downstairs, that shower, that bedroom and shower that's down there where the cameras are facing into the window. I use that shower also, not just, the owner, my mom, but when we come and visit, that is the bathroom that we use. So not only am I showering and having to use that bedroom to change, but also the kids and my mom.
I do want to add one more thing too. With the cameras, I do think that was done in retaliation because of the fence and other scenarios that have happened. So I do think the intention wasn't for her privacy.
Ms. Perkins, can I follow up on that? When you say the cameras were put in there in retaliation to the fence, which fence are you referring to? Are you referring to the 6-foot fence or the additional 10-foot wall?
Yeah, I don't know the exact timeline of when everything was installed, but I just know after, because she didn't have those cameras there before until, I don't know. I would have to have ISIS confirm that, but I just know I feel like it was done in retaliation.
Okay. Mr. Lyons, any other witnesses you want to call?
Just a moment.
Sure, no problem.
Mr. Sturkey, Ms. Perkins, Ms. Isis Perkins would like to make a comment.
Okay.
Oh, hi. So I agree with my children, and I just want to say something really short. Miss Marksberry lived here for like 30 years. She never had a camera. Her neighbors next to her, they have a bunch of cameras all over her place. She never complains about that. When I moved here, the first thing that I thought is, okay, I'm moving by myself, female, Latino, I'm going to have a security system, which a lot of Americans have. So not a big deal. She didn't like that because she does a lot of bad things on my property, destroying my property, killing my plants. and you see all those extra stuff that you got. So it's pretty much retaliation because I'm a female, my origin, and she thinks something is going to happen because I'm different.
Okay, thank you.
Any further comment or witnesses, Mr. Lyons?
I don't believe so, Mr. Cirque. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay. I think we will go ahead and move on to public comments. So Ms. Marksberry, if you want to unmute, this is your opportunity to provide any testimony in regards to this application and this request.
Yes, my daughter just came in. Can we swear her in as well?
Yeah, of course.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that she was going to be here, but she did provide a statement along with all the other documents I had sent you, along with pictures and stuff like that.
Sure,
So
no
can
problem.
we swear her in?
Yeah, first, if I could get your name.
Natalie.
Okay, and is it Marksberry?
No, it's Ingram. I really don't want to give that information due to ISIS, to be honest with you. But
Okay, let's.
yeah, Natalie Ingram is my name.
Okay, yeah, I need to have names
Yeah.
for anyone who wants to provide testimony, so I appreciate that. And yeah, it looks like you're in the full frame now. So if you could just raise your right hand, I need you to answer out loud. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, great. So you guys can go ahead. I'd ask that just one of you at a time speaks.
Yes. First of all, this is in regards to the wall. As my statement that I sent to you, it may be a decorative wall on her side, but on my side, it is an eyesore. And she states that she had that for privacy because of my cameras. I don't know if Sean, while he was out there surveying the wall, if he noticed where the placements of Miss Perkins' cameras were, because they are directly on my side door. I have sent pictures to you of where her cameras were and are now. They were lowered, and then she raised them when she got her privacy wall. And the reason why I got my cameras is because Miss Perkins, which you have letters from her attorney, stating, and in my statement also, Miss Perkins is known to get a ladder, climb up on that ladder, look over the fence. Before we had cameras, I had an exterminator out here, and Miss Perkins startled him while he was spraying the outside of my house because she was leaning over the fence. That's when I decided to get my cameras, because she's knocked over items that they said that was touching her fence. She removed items in the far back of my yard, which she has a gap in her fence that is probably, I don't know, maybe a foot, maybe a little less, but I put some blocks there that were not touching her fence, but mysteriously they were removed. Don't know how. And that is why I got my cameras, because there was activities going on that shouldn't have been going on my side of her fence. I submitted several pictures of Perkins on a ladder, looking over, removing plants, reaching up, tearing my plants off. Now, they may be on her side of the fence, but she could have got clips and cut them very nicely. But no, she reached over the fence, grabbed them, and pulled them. That is why I have my cameras. My cameras are not in her window. As you can see by the pictures I submitted to you, you can see where my cameras are placed, and they do not show her window. Just because she took pictures of my cameras does not mean that they go in her window. I submitted you a picture of her camera directly in my living room that continually stayed on while we were refinishing our living room. We were removing wallpaper, so we had no window treatments up, and it continually stayed on while we moved in our living room. I have a picture, which I don't know if I gave that, out of my bedroom window, where you can see that I was looking out my bedroom window and the camera was on. You can see in multiple pictures where at my side door, the cameras are on. So if Perkins wants her privacy, I would like my privacy too. I have also submitted pictures from a falsely accusing me of destroying her cameras, which was dismissed, where her cameras are directly at my back door. If you would like to show those, if you're talking about privacy, we got those cameras to protect our property line. And there was valid reason. Before then, we could care less what Perkins did. My neighbors on the other side, yes, they do have cameras because they were broken into. When she had the cameras installed, she said, Diane, here's what this is what our cameras are showing. Miss Perkins have never gave us the same courtesy whatsoever. Her cameras were installed immediately when she moved in, immediately, directly at my side door. She has a camera on her back porch. She has one on the side of her house, in the middle of her house, directly on my side door. And every time you open or close the door, it comes on. Now, with the wall, it is a big eyesore on our side, and especially when the wall is aging, it's going to decrease my property value. It will probably have mosquitoes infestations in between the fences and her trees in front of her. And I would think her evergreens that are in front of the fence would give her enough privacy in her backyard. And what she's saying her backyard is the driveway. It's her parking lot behind her house. She has another area on the side of her house that is a yard, which are apartments, but I guess she doesn't mind everyone in the apartments looking down at her grandkids playing, just us. Natalie, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, quite a few things. My kids are older, so I fear, I don't know if you've seen The Perfect Neighbor, of how many times she calls the cops on my mom. And my mom has lived here for 21 years, 24 years, and there has never been any complaints until ISIS has moved in, and they're all false accusations.
Nothing
And
resolved.
The Perfect Neighbor clearly is enough to say the type of person she is and what she's capable of. Nobody cares she's Latino. My children are of different descent. So that's an irrelevant statement on her behalf.
Yes.
And if she's so concerned about the privacy, why does the wall only hide for when her attorney, who she's having an affair with, comes over? Why is it only that? She doesn't put a whole wall on everything, but when she installed the wall, she moved her cameras up to where they still face into my mom's side door, her living room.
So she could
so
see
when I
others.
walk out the door, or when my kids walk out the door, they're automatically turned on, which is kind of alarming to me and my grown children who are 16, 14, 18. And it makes us uncomfortable. We used to come here every weekend, and I unfortunately cannot come because I just am not a nice person and I will not bite my tongue for her disrespecting my mom the way she does. And that's really what it all boils down to is she wants her privacy, but she doesn't want to give it to anybody else.
So
We don't care what she does over
Right,
there.
we
And
don't.
her kids don't even come and visit her only when she wants them to babysit.
Okay, that's enough. So I just want to say, I don't know if you have those photos of, this is from Miss Perkins' cameras herself. I don't know if you can, but you have these, right? That I sent you?
Correct,
Could you
yes.
please show what kind of privacy I have? And
So,
in closing, honestly, we have come accustomed to her cameras. But apparently when she installed her cameras and continued to look over the fence to see what was going on our side, that's when I installed mine. And if you look at all those documentations, you have her attorney's letter. You have her attorney's letter of me putting things on her fence. There is 2 inches on the other side of her fence, and that's it. She continues to look over. So if you could show those, that would be awesome.
so I'm gonna try to pull up photo that you sent. Is this the picture you're open?
Yeah, that is one of them. That is one where we were having a gathering and she called the police on that. And the police said, continue what you're doing. You're not doing anything wrong. That is directly at, and there's my side door, window, what her camera looked in. And you have that also.
Okay. Another one.
Those are from her cameras. That's Dan walking before she had the privacy fence, which she had to move that up when she got her privacy fence so she could look over it. So that's down low. That's Dan walking on our property. We have never cut her trees, never done anything. She has cut my banana. She is not a nice person.
Okay. Anything else you all would like to say?
I would like to ask Sean, I believe his name was, if he noticed where her placements of her cameras were on her property towards my house.
No, I didn't view her cameras. I just was out there to look at the wall and saw that, they pointed out to where your cameras were pointing directly.
Right.
Stuff, and that
And
was
okay. And like I said, it's really not an issue of privacy here. It's because I called the city multiple times on where her placements of her cameras were, and they pretty much said there's nothing they can do. Shut your blinds, which we have. And if you would please show one picture of either the fence line, what they can see, and you can clearly see Perkins' window is not involved in the fence line. If you would show that, that would be great. I mean,
is that in pictures that you've shared, or
it is. I sent multiple pictures, like groups of pictures. One was the fence. One was 170. There is where she raised the camera up. So, and that is my side door, and the camera is on.
Okay. Is this
Okay.
one that you wanted to see?
No,
you
I
want-
would like, well, that shows where her cameras are positioned, but I sent some others where it showed the fence line. And that will show you the position of where my cameras view. It doesn't show any windows. It shows her kitchen window, and that is it.
I do have one thing to add. I've been in that house prior to Perkins living there, and the bathroom that they say that looking in her window or so, is clear on the other side of that bedroom, on the other side of the corner of the house that no camera is looking into, or even directed at all. So the irrelevant statements and swearing under oath and lying right there shows the credibility of the statements made by people, because the bathroom is in the far, if you walk in the door of that bedroom that she's claiming is her bedroom, it's on the far side of the room, and you walk straight in, and that's the bedroom.
It's in the back of the house.
The bathroom is nowhere on the side of my mother's house. So those statements are invalid and incorrect.
So
I think I want to add something.
There it is.
So
So
Ms.
that-
Lisa, or Ms.
Yes, that-
Samantha Perkins, I'll give you an opportunity. You'll have an opportunity for rebuttal and to respond to these comments in just a minute, but.
So that is the side camera. And as you can see, there's Robert, number one, but that one window, that's her kitchen. In the very end corner, that's what she's saying is her bedroom. It doesn't show it on my camera. I could care less what goes on in that house. As you can see, the little symbols also that we have to deal with, but that's okay. And then there is one facing the back. There is, and also the walls. That's the wall, and that's her looking over the fence. There are multiple. I have there's her looking over the fence. That's when she was tearing the leaves off of my bushes. So that is the reason why we installed the fences. That is exactly, and it doesn't protect my privacy at all. It only protects Miss Perkins' privacy. So I think that's a little unleveled. And the thing is, she has evergreens in front of that. So I think that's enough privacy with her 6-foot fence and her evergreens that are now taller than, I believe it's more than 4 foot and 4 inches tall. I believe it's more like 5 foot tall in the back. It's at least 11 foot in the back of my house. It's just an eyesore on my side.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you both for
Sorry.
your testimony, and no need to apologize. The rules do allow for an attorney of a party to ask questions of anyone that's testified here. So, Mr. Lyons, if you have any questions for Ms. Ingram and Ms. Marksberry, now is the time.
I have nothing to say to them.
Okay. All right. Great. Thank you again for your testimony. Let's move to Mr. Munzel. Mr. Munzel, is there anything you want to add to this?
Good afternoon. No, other than maybe I did look up the date I issued, or the fence certificate was issued for the 6-foot fence. It was in July 26, 2023. It was mentioned in the discussion, a timeline. So I thought I'd just mention that factual date. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. Now is the time for Mr. Lyons and your client, if you would like to respond to any of the testimony that you heard from the public, or make any other arguments, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Sturkey. Actually, I believe, was it Samantha or had something there? So if she could have her address you at this time.
Sure. Samantha Perkins, if you could just start your camera for me.
If it's okay, I can come back just because I have my little one with me and I need to mute myself for just a second.
Okay, sure. We'll give you a minute.
Can call her later. Mr. Starkey, we're really not here about the placement of Ms. Perkins' cameras, but I'll let you know, and I believe things have shown that Ms. Perkins' cameras run along are pointed at the property line, and as far on her property as they can be based upon the configuration of the camera. So it does do the property line, shows both sides of the fence. And Mr. Sturkey, you got my letter and the videos that I submitted before the hearing. So
Yes.
okay. And I don't know. I imagine Ms. Marksberry's cameras are movable. So if she provided pictures of them not pointing directly at Ms. Perkins' bedroom window and Ms. Perkins' backyard, is certainly seen where they are pointed, and Mr. Fain was here and observed exactly where they were pointed. So I believe they're movable, but they spend most of the time, or have spent most of the time, other than maybe when Ms. Marksberry took pictures of them, pointed directly at Ms. Perkins' bedroom window and into her backyard, which is her backyard is between her garage and her house, and the cars do go on that, but that is where the grandchildren play. I'm kind of perplexed where she complains about her, or she talked about her privacy. Well, this wall provides privacy for both sides. So I'm not exactly sure where she's going with that. And, she was charged and prosecuted for criminal damaging. So the case, there was a finding of not guilty, but the city did prosecute her for that offense. Samantha, are you available?
Yeah.
Real quick, Samantha, sorry. Ms. Marksberry, I see you have your hand up.
Yes.
Unfortunately, to really get one bite at the apple there for your comments, and it is the applicant's burden of proof to get this relief approved. And so I know you want to get something in there, but really need to let them go forward now.
That's fine. It's just false. They're falsifying information. That's all.
I understand. Thank you. Okay. Sorry, Samantha Perkins.
I just wanted to make a comment. There's lots of footage of them talking badly of my mom, constantly cussing or calling her the B word, or even like making threats. So I think that just what my mom's doing is really just protecting herself. And I think they're just angry over that fact.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I've got a couple questions that I wanted to ask here, and I understand that this is, an unfortunate circumstance with the relationship between the two neighbors. This is, in my mind, the analysis I have to make is really about the zoning and what the zoning code says. And so I'm going to try and focus my questions a little bit more on that. But so to the applicants and Mr. Lyons, do you believe that a 10-foot 4-inch fence is compatible with the surrounding neighborhood and just compatible with other land uses, surrounding land uses?
I do, Mr. Starkey. And again, the placement, and it's 32 feet in the back and side yard, and not noticeable by anyone else other than the two neighbors here. And like I say, there is a purpose for it, and it's no more than it needs to be to block the cameras that, unequivocally are pointed into Ms. Perkins' house and yard. So no, I think, again, it's certainly not offensive. It's an attractive fence or attractive structure with birdhouses, and it's like I say, I don't find it to be offensive at all, and is compatible with the neighborhood, doesn't obstruct anything. It's not, it actually provides safety, doesn't cause any safety issues.
Okay, well,
Can I
let me,
can I piggyback on that? I
sure.
just have only because I'm also a real estate agent in the area, and I know that one of the concerns is lowering property value. And I can say that that won't affect anything. Like if they go in to sell their property, what we normally do, we'll go in, we run comps. It's all based on square footage, upgrades within the home, new roof, HVAC, that sort of thing. Anything like that in the backyard fencing, that never really comes up. No one ever has issues with that. If there's a new owner that's going to come in to purchase a property and they have an issue with the fence, or they just know that they can remove that, after closing, it never becomes an issue with property values.
Well, so let me pull on that thread a little bit more then.
Mhm.
Because it sounds like the primary reason or justification for this taller fence is the presence of cameras on a neighbor's property. Does that mean that anytime a neighbor anywhere in the city installs a camera on their property that may include in the view part of the neighbor's property, that they should be entitled to go against the zoning code and install a fence that's 4 feet outside the zoning code? And if so, where do we draw the line? You said there's an apartment building. On the other side, it looks like it's 2 stories. What if someone on the second story put a camera in their window that shined on the backyard of the subject property? Could she build a 20-foot fence?
I think it's, case by case. I mean, the situation is unique. The neighbor on the other side is not doing it in good faith, and there's been threats, and, it's, I think, a safety issue at this point. So I think it's a case by case basis, when situations like this happen. From, my experience, I had lived there, a few months when we first moved back to the city while we looked for a new home, and there was never any issues because, we noticed that apartment building and we never experienced any issues with the people that live there, and I know she doesn't now at this time.
Can I say something really fast?
Sure.
Okay. So with the neighbors, believe it or not, I thought when I moved here that I will have problem with the building because I never lived near a building. Those are the more respectful people I see. Children, when they're playing on the other side and the ball comes into my property, they come into my front door and ask for permission to pick it up. Now, I never see such a toxic neighbors like Marksbury that I have so close, my only neighbor, and they behave in that way like children. So at this point, to protect my family, my grandchildren, and myself, because they mentioned they have a shotgun in the house, and I made a report about that. I just want, and I feel protected with a wall to protect my family. And I feel more safe with the building next door, even when they watch me, because if something happens, I know they can call the ambulance on me. They see me fall. One time I was cutting the grass and the person from the building stopped by and asked me if I was okay. Look at that kind of neighbors, and they are a building. You see the difference? That's the kind of neighbors that like to live next to it. Thank you.
Okay. Yep. Mr. Sturkey.
If I could just, sorry, Mr. Lyons, if I could just ask one more question.
Sure.
There was some mention, and it is visible in some of the photos, that there is some vegetative screening as well behind the fence, or on Ms. Perkins' side of the fence. And I can pull up a picture just so we're all looking at it, but I think you all know what I'm talking about. You know, fences are regulated by the zoning code and have opacity and height requirements. This technically under the definition, I believe I agree with the zoning administrator here that this does qualify as a fence, which is why we're here. Vegetative screening, however, is not regulated in the same way. If I think at all, and Mr. Menzel can correct me if I'm wrong, it looks like there's pretty significant coverage here. So I guess my question is, have you explored trying to use alternative methods like this? Or maybe you haven't, maybe that's why these are here, but it looks like if you had some dense vegetation here, that it could achieve the goal that you're trying to achieve with privacy and security without running afoul of the zoning code. Is that something you've explored?
Well, with that, Mr. Sturkey, the trees may eventually get to the point where they blind, but right now, and when the wall was installed, they were actually smaller. But no, there are gaps, and the camera is able to, you know, again, it's not a complete block for that. And back on your question, you asked about that, and every, you know, in the situation, every camera. It's not so much the surveillance cameras that are installed on Ms. Marksberry's house. It's the direction of the cameras. If they were directed into her yard or along the property line, or if that wasn't the issue, the wall wouldn't be an issue. The wall wouldn't be necessary. But when they are pointed directly in the bedroom window and directly into the backyard, that is not to provide security for the residents at 180 Richardson Place. It is invades the privacy of Ms. Perkins. I'm going to say the pointing directly at the bedroom window and directly in the backyard. And also one comment about the placement of the bathroom. The bathroom door opens right into the bedroom. So if one were to walk out of the bathroom into the bedroom, you know, that's why that's why there was a mention of the bathroom and along with that, because they're right next to each other, and those bathrooms very small, and the door opens right into the bedroom.
So you have to dress and undress pretty much in the bedroom.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. So, yeah. Is your argument then that if these cameras were directed in a way where it did not show any of your client's property, that the fence could come down?
That would be it, but have problems because through an attorney, Ms. Marksberry have asked that be done, which it wasn't done. And like I say, if the direction was changed, it could be changed back. That's the concern. The intent of, you know, we feel that the intent of the cameras, Ms. Marksberry's cameras, is to invade the privacy of Ms. Perkins, not to provide security for that property, for her property.
Yeah. And also, her camera guy came one day. I was outside and overheard when she was telling him how higher he can go with the cameras. And he says, well, we can install it on the fence. And she says, well, that's not my fence. But that again is showing that she's not worried about security. She just wants to see what's going on in my bedroom. That's all. And she talks about my body parts when I'm tanning. I like to tan in the summer. So she talks about my boobs. She talks about the dress, how I dress. She talks about all those kind of things.
Okay. Mr. Lyons, I don't have any more questions. So if there's anything you'd like to say in closing or otherwise,
Mr. Turkey, I'll be very brief. I think we've covered it. I'm going to say the property right that's being affected here and has been resolved by the fence, the right to privacy that Ms. Perkins has. And as we've said before, or as we've already talked about, changing the direction of the cameras could be changed, but could be changed back. So that's why the fence is, or wall/fence. And I understand now that it would be considered part of the fence because of the close proximity, even though it's not attached to the fence, and I understand that. But the size and placement of the fence is only for that purpose, is to obstruct the cameras that are pointed directly into Ms. Perkins' property.
Okay.
And into her.
Okay.
I would
All
add
right. Well,
that our request be granted, our application be granted.
Thank you.
okay.
Thank you.
All right. I want to thank everyone for their time and their testimony. I appreciate it. I think someone said it was toxic. That sounds like an accurate description to me of the relationships. I'm sorry that's happening. I understand that neither side really agrees or thinks what the other side is saying is truthful. So I just want you all to know that I understand that, I recognize that. I'm going to look at the standards in the zoning code and apply the law to this. I do have a lot of testimony here today and a lot of things in the application materials that I would like to review a little bit in further detail before I make an official decision on this application. As soon as I do make a decision, I'm going to put that in writing. That will serve as the official decision. I'll put that into a PDF and I'll email it to everybody in the hearing here today. So you all have a copy of that decision really just moments after it's complete. And after that, there is an appeal process. If the decision is not something you agree with, that is something that is open to either side here. After the decision is made, you'll have 30 days to make that appeal if you would like. Information about how that process works will be included in the decision. So again, you'll receive all of that really just moments after the decision is made. Otherwise, I want to mention too, oftentimes folks come out of hearings and they think of something that they wish they would have said, or they want to add additional evidence or pictures or testimony or something like that. The hearing is now closed, so I'm just going to be making my decision based on all the information I have up to this moment. I will not be taking any new testimony or any new evidence. I won't consider it if you send it to me. I can, however, answer questions about the process, the procedure, or if you want an update on where I'm at with the decision, I'm happy to answer those questions for you guys. But in terms of anything that's testimonial, I can no longer accept those. I mentioned at the beginning that the decisions typically take about 2 weeks. I think that's generally a good estimate, although I think we have a holiday in between now and 2 weeks. So if it's a few days after 2 weeks, that's normal. I'm still working on the decision. But again, if you want an update on where I'm at any time, please feel free to reach out to me directly. Any questions right now I can answer about anything before we sign off here? Okay, great. Well, if anything comes up again on process procedure, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, thank you all again for your time and your testimony. You'll be hearing from me shortly. I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and we are adjourned.